Today's lesson is about greatest common factor and least common multiple, also known as the GCF and the LCM. Your goal is going to be to find the greatest common factor of two whole numbers less than or equal to 100 and to find the least common multiple of two whole numbers less than or equal to 12. Now, before we get started, we want to make sure that your template is cut out and your foldable is secured in your notebook the way it should be. So what I just want to point out is that your M should be cut out all the way around its boundaries, and it should be glued flat to your page. The whole thing can be glued right flat to your page directly underneath your learning goal. Whereas your Venn diagram is going to be taped across the top so that it can be flipped open and up, and it should be cut on those vertical lines so that you have three different flaps that can be flipped up. Okay? So as we start our notes, we're going to first focus on the LCM. And the LCM, or the least common multiple, is when we look at two different numbers and we decide what is the smallest multiple that they have in common. So let's try the number 9 and the number 12. The first multiple of 9 is 1 times 9, and that equals 9, of course. The second multiple of 9 is 2 times 9, and that is equal to 18. The third multiple is 3 times 9, and that's equal to 27. And we can continue doing the fourth multiple of 36, the fifth multiple of 45, and the sixth multiple of 54. Now we're going to draw the multiples for 12. The first multiple, of course, is 12. The second multiple is 24. The third multiple is 36. The fourth multiple is 48. The fifth multiple is 60. And the sixth multiple is 72. You may have already found the pattern just as you started to look at multiples, but just for the sake of practice, we'll go through all 6. The smallest number that both 9 and 12 have in common with regards to their multiples are 36. In fact, in the example that we just did, 36 is the only number that they have in common. If we had continued to write the multiples of either 9 or 12, we probably would have found a second one that they had in common. However, this was the smallest or the least multiple. Next, we're going to look at our Venn diagram, and we're going to focus on the greatest common factors. So, first of all, we're going to look at the factors of the number 36, and you can write this right on the top of your Venn diagram, kind of on the cover, right? We're going to look at the factors of 48, and then we're going to look at the factors of both numbers. Okay? And then you're going to flip that up and write underneath on the lined paper. And first we're going to do the factors of 36. So we can create our factor rainbow of 1, 36, 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 9, and also 6 times 6, right? And then we're going to do the factors of 48. 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 3 times 16, 4 times 12, and 6 times 8. So we have all the factors of 36 and 48. So now we're going to put the factors they both have in common. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12, and it looks like that's it. So in this particular case, the largest factor, or the greatest common factor that's within these two numbers, is equal to 12. Now, both of the strategies that we used here to find the GCF and the LCM are pretty straightforward. It's more about listing numbers and identifying what they have in common, and also whether it's the largest or the smallest. However, we are going to learn a more complicated method to find the greatest common factor and the least common multiple when the numbers are too large for us to continue listing forever, right? These were kind of middle-sized numbers, and so making a list is a definitely effective strategy. But with much larger numbers in the hundreds and thousands, you don't want to be making lists. So there are other ways to do this using factor trees. But for today, go ahead and solve your proof by using the method that we discussed in this video. Your proof says, what is the GCF of 24 and 32? And what is the LCM of 4